Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we got a brilliant flight plan, the last long haul sector in the Trans-Siberian Express Airways flight. I'm so glad today to be going from Chita to Khabarovsk, and that'll be our final destination before we land in Vladivostok, which will probably be on Wednesday this week. I hope you're all looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. We're just out here on the ramp. As I mentioned in previous streams, we're going to be flying in the dark most of the time now, because when I stream in the UK, it's dark in the east of Russia, of course. That's just common sense. The sun is not on that side of the globe anymore. Today we've got a simple departure from Chita Airport, runway 29, Pigok 1 Sierra departure, and cruise level 45,000 with 9 passengers on board. We're expecting 3,500, roughly 3,500 kg of fuel. Weather conditions are looking pretty good so far. I'm just about to check the METAR for the current airport we're going to, which is codename UHHH, Khabarovsk, aka Novi, and that is considerably lower down in altitude than we are now. So UHHH on the METAR METAR-TAF.com, and you can get all the latest weather there. So VFR conditions is great, yeah, 1012 for the hectopascals, so everything is looking pretty fine. Let's go ahead and get hopping in the aircraft and get started as quickly as possible. I'm going to turn the timer off for you this time so you don't have to deal with it on screen. It should have gone off by now, so let's hop in and let's get our let's get our flight started. So just going to do relatively quickly today and try and skip as many things as we can, i.e. the checklist, so you don't have to listen to it too much. Do you see this panel here is pretty quick to set up. We are going to turn the map light on just for a minute, just to keep it nice and bright in the cockpit for us. Flight plan has been downloaded. There we go, and we're going to activate it. I don't expect there'll be ATC. We are connected to VATSIM network, but I don't suspect we'll have anyone available this far east. So you can see the pickup departure has a 10,000 feet altitude, and then we're cleared up to 45,000. And it's quite a long flight today, so as I say, this is a long haul. This really is going to be about 2 hours of flight time. According to SimBrief, the airtime is 2 hours. So yeah, it's going to be a while. I hope you all enjoy it. And then obviously the last one. Obviously the perception of distance on the maps will give the impression that it's shorter than it actually is. So yeah. But it isn't, is what I'm trying to say. 122.8. Of course, we know this frequency. It's already on the primary one, but I'm going to put it in the backup as well. And then, at least that way, if we switch frequencies by accident, it's still the same thing. It just toggle the brakes. Not got too much movement there in the aircraft, which is brilliant. 16 degrees outside, pretty chilly. Let's crank the indoor temperature for us to 18 for the packs. I'm going to get them loaded up actually, so we want 9 packs on board. 225 of cargo, which seems to be standard. It seems to just be the standard amount on this aircraft is 225. Around that amount for people. If we can get close to that figure, that's all I'm happy with. And then 9 people, so we already got pilots, and then we need 3 people in the back. So 70 times 3, roughly. You can add extra weight on there, and then obviously we need 4 on there as well. So we add more on the back if we can get the thing to stay still. Just about there. We can confirm it down here as well if we go into performance. It should give us the data for how many people on board. Go ahead and put our altitude in. Initial altitude can be 45,000 as well. Transition level. Again, there's nobody on board. There's not even any planes in the area. Transition level here is quite high. If you remember, the airport's 2,200 feet. So yeah, QNH 1014, 095 transition level. And fuel. We haven't fueled actually. So let's make sure we got the fuel on board. We got well not enough fuel at the moment. Extremely little fuel. So we need 3379. I think we're going to be full. Are we going to be full? Yes, we are. So we're over full on them too. 3379. I'm thinking we should just take just a little bit more. So maybe 3400. That'll give us a little bit. At least then if there's any delays on the ground, we will, you know, we'll have that extra fuel on board, so we won't have to worry too much about it. It's going to be an interesting one. Although I said it's going to be clear weather, I'm not confident about the landing. We landed here, obviously the last stream, but apparently this is not even suitable for the Citation X. But there's airliners here, it's just not suitable for the Citation, so obviously not an airport that handles these planes for some reason. Okay, let's cockpit packs and cabin packs on. We didn't put our lights on just yet, let's do that. The seatbelts. Looking smooth, so let's get the door closed. Let's just crank that light down again now, it's gone a bit bright. Reconfirm the fuel. Okay, now we got an issue here, so it's not, and we've already got 8 passengers on board. There's the passenger count, so obviously somebody's not weighing it off. There we go. The definition of weight on here is very strange. So yeah, it's not confirming, which means something's gone wrong on the initialization. There we go, it's the cruise level has gone wrong, so now we can hopefully confirm it. Oops. Right, that's it, that worked, basically just changing that. 5 degrees off 15, let's go 15 today. I haven't downloaded the actual flight plan. I rarely download it, to be honest. I just look at SimBrief and just take it off there, to be honest. It's A little bit difficult sometimes to keep referencing back to the flight plan, you know, especially if you know what's needed in the first place. And besides that, we've got charts available. So 128, 190 there for VNR. Climbing, we're going to climb straight up. Straight for the atmosphere. Right, let's go for number 1 engine start. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to have a look at the departures. So Chita-Kadala Airport, we want, of course, I'm just going to remind you what the airport looks like. So we're parked roughly down here somewhere, and we want runway 29 for takeoff. And I go back to departures 29. Again, it could be an RNAV, so we check the RNAV first. There's that Conair one we did last time. We arrived on the Conair. So pick up 1 Sierra. There's Pighook, 1 Bravo, 2 Bravo on there. So we're getting a bit closer. This is kind of just how you have to do it. There's not really any search functionality in this aviator's tablets. You literally have to just continually open new ones in the hope that you'll find it. Pick up 1 November, 2 November. I think we also got to bear in mind that SimBrief sometimes gives you out-of-date information. 2 Delta, I mean we're kind of getting there, unless I've gone past it. A lot of departure routes though, isn't there? But you even got 1 Quebec, 1 and 2 Quebec, no Sierra yet. Right, I think that's the last. There it is, pick up 1 Sierra. Should have just clicked that first. I suspected it would be the RNAV departure. As you can see, the RNAV runway 29 standard instrument departure charts, and transition levels also put on there. So just looking at our departure now, runway 29. There it is. So 289 is the bearing. Let's put that on the heading of the course. It's already pre-selected, thankfully. 28 almost selected, and we'll do the altitude while we're looking at the chart. Got master warning, hold on a sec. Master caution, master warnings. Oil pressure low. Probably because we started the engine without introducing any fuel, my mistake. Let's get into this and actually monitor the engine. We're going to introduce that and we'll monitor that. So it looks like we're going to be going out from the runway. We're going to be making a right hand turn, and then we're going to be flying up. We're going to be climbing pretty quickly, so 4,006. Yeah, we're going to be over 4,000 feet, and then pick up 1 Sierra there. Flight level 100 or above. Well, we can confirm that in the FMC. The N2, by the way, everything else on the engine's going well. Engine temperatures, fuel flow. Electrics, fuel hydraulics. Hydraulics there just charging up slightly. Wonder if that's broken. Yeah, chart, so we can go back to the FMC and we can confirm their flight level 100, which will be up by the time we get there. And you see that 4170. So these are all giving you the altitude. So basically the initial altitude is climb as quickly as possible to clear this terrain. Yeah, relatively simple stuff. So we know there's not too much to keep in mind there. So we can go back now to the ground charts and monitor this ground movement at least. There we go. So I'm going to be taxiing down. Odd, very odd, there's no taxiway names on this. Anyway, successful engine start at number 1, let's go for number 2. Set the QNH. I'm going to set the minimums in a second. Don't worry everyone, I did introduce fuel in time. Right, minimums. So we want 1,000 feet. We're looking about 3,330. That's minimums at this airport. It's quite a lot, to be honest. Sorry, my mistake. I can't even count properly. 230. There we go. And the same for the co-pilot side. There we go. Right, LNAV flight level change, vertical speed. Let's change that. We're going to be climbing pretty quick, so 180 in this situation probably would be appropriate. Did we select 15 degrees on flaps? Yeah, 15 degrees of flaps. Number 2 and number 1 engine has started. Beacons are on. I think we're pretty much ready to go. Pitos can come on, and taxi lights as well. Straight out taxi, and there's the taxiway number 6. As I say there, so number 8 we need. We can look at the sign. We can follow the signs anyway. We can see there that where it says 3, it says 29 as well. So if we obviously we're not going to taxi down there because that would mean backtracking the runway. So we'll go right prior to that. Anyway, let's get going. Sort of figure it out on the way there. I'll put flaps down 15 degrees now. Quick flight control check. We're Romeo Alpha 5 Hotel. You see we need a lot of thrust here, and this is why I take extra fuel sometimes, because the taxi speed you need a lot of power as well to get out because there's so much weight, so it's obviously going to burn more fuel. Not to mention the conditions were already pretty high up. There we go. So we can see where we're going to be taxiing. Not very well lit, this airport. It's not well lit at all. There's a few taxi lines here going off. You got one going to the left, one going onto the runway, and then we're taking this one all the way down, number 6. Fine everybody, it's just the rotary test which I haven't done yet. Okay, runway 27 relatively quickly, to be honest. Nice headwind. I think this is the threshold to the runway. You just have to check the X-plane map sometimes, so yeah. As you can see, we're parked there, so I can't see any other point to go past. We might as well prepare for takeoff now, so let's go ahead and set our transponder to TCAS. Test, and then TCAS mode, which is altitude. I'll keep the taxi lights on when we taxi to the runway, and then we'll turn them off. Strobes on. Passenger safety signs. Altitude is not set yet. Let me set that. And we will make it up to 45,000 nice and easy today. Gonna be a nice relaxed flight. I won't talk too much when I'm in the air, I promise. I keep it zipped. Okay, heading to the runway. FMS, I'm going to turn that off because it's a bit distracting. If it's any issues, we'll just circle back to the airport. The frequency is already tuned in. Chita-Kadala Airport, Romeo Alpha 5 Hotel, departing runway 29 to the east. It's going to be super interesting to see if there's actually anybody in this vicinity, like, of the world. If there's anybody here, because I haven't seen one single soul yet. There's been a few at that last airport, but that was just a fluke. It's, in general, there's not many people. Just confirm as well that the strobes are working. We didn't do the rotary test, but, well, there's the stall test. Annunciation's working. I wouldn't do this when you're taxiing everybody, it's a bit dangerous. Okay, that's pretty much done. We do going to check the buckets before we depart, so reverses are good. Of course, strobes are on. Relatively quick taxi that is onto the runway, so we're going to be full thrust pretty much straight away. No takeoff water. Oh, the trim's not set, so we'll just do the trim quickly before we go fast, and then we'll full thrust it. So takeoff thrust is set. 80 knots. And V1 rotate. Nice amount of pressure there on the stick. We do have a positive rate, so the gear's coming up. Autopilot coming on. We should really wait to 1,000 feet above ground level. So a little bit of bad practice there. Shouldn't really switch it on until at least 1,000 feet above. Usually they won't even engage until you're that high up. But yeah, it's safe to use it now. Reduce that to climb setting and bring the flaps up to 5. As you can see, a steep climb out. Flaps are coming up. Vertical navigation. And slats are coming up as well. Everything's looking pretty good on the engines, no issues. APU still on, of course, we need that. Should rarely have the pressure on there on low until we're a little bit higher up. Keep in mind everyone, at 950, 9,500 feet or 9,500 is the transition level for standard pressure. I think we'll get the altitude pretty quickly at this rate as well. It's going to be great to see it. Anyway, goodbye to Chita-Kadala Airport. Now we've took off. We should really have, again, I made a few mistakes, but we should really have the lights in the cockpit and the cabin on. They're pretty dim already for takeoff and landing. So that's 250. Now we can speed through. We're about to get to transition level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preempt. I'll just set it now anyway. Okay, so landing lights, forgot the taxi lights. Passenger seatbelt signs are coming off. It's like I say, it's a relatively smooth flight. This with the further we gone east, the better it's got weather-wise. So I'm literally just gonna let you all sit back and relax and enjoy it. I'll do a few things in the cockpit, but you know, any questions, just type it in chat and I'll get back to you. Thanks. We're still climbing up to 45,000, everybody. Just a quick check-in, just to let you know, I'm just looking at the charts. Obviously, you can see that on the screen. We have the Avada 6 Delta arrival to runway 05 right, so it's an RNAV approach. A lot of RNAV approaches in Russia, there's not really many ILS. So, of course, this will be the arrival. We'll come down flight level 100 above, down 170 the heading, and then we'll get round here, which will be the waypoint. The waypoint will then have to make a way to the airport, so obviously all these waypoints, there's a lot of them on here by the way, will converge. They seem to be converging in the similar place, which is there. And that says 3,100 feet, so it's going to be quite high, and we could just cross-reference that. Yeah, so we can cross-reference it with the heights of the FMC as well, and it does in fact. It matches up perfectly, which is fantastic. HH009, 3180 for the altitude. And then there's no other thing there because we've not put our actual approach in yet. All we've got is the arrival, which is the Avada 6 Delta. So these maps don't usually show the airport on it, which is a shame. So you have to go back and then you have to click on approach chart. So it's quite a lot of charts for basically the same thing, if that makes sense. Surely there's a better way to organise it. Anyway, we finally reached 45,000 feet, just about. We've kind of slowed down quite a lot. I was tempted to put spoilers, some slats down just to help the lift. But I think we'll be alright. We'll just let that speed up. Unfortunately, the speed brake's deployed while we're climbing, so we lost speed because of that. That's my mistake. So anyway, going back to the approaches, so we obviously have a discretion. Since it's an RNAV arrival, we might as well do the RNAV approach. It's the logical choice because it'll sort of, they connect to one another, don't they? The waypoints will connect to one another. So we'll do the RNAV approach to runway 05 right. The NDB's available, that's interesting. Quite a big airport, I think. So where is RNAV? Coordinates of RNAV waypoints, perhaps? No, that's not going to be useful. Glide slopes, ILS. Maybe there isn't an RNAV approach. I thought there might be. So it might be an ILS then. RMP, but I'm not keen on. There isn't one available for our runway anyway. Or VOR, so it looks like it's an ILS. We've got no choice here but to go with ILS X-ray, because that seems to be the only one coming up. An ILS Zulu, but it's probably X-ray, isn't it? I don't know. We'll wait till we get a bit closer till we see that. Anyway, we know the approach is 10,000 feet down to 3,000 feet for probably for the approach height, and then a little bit lower when we intercept the glide slope and ILS. We'll get that when we get a bit closer, so I'll check in a bit later on. Alright, it's time to check in with all you wonderful people. So, hello again. We're going to be planning the arrival soon. I think we'll just go for whatever approach we want to because there's no ATC. So we know the RNAV arrival. We don't know what the approach is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select. I've already looked at the charts, as you can see. I'm going to go for the ILS X-ray runway 05, and that'll just give us some guidance. And when we get there, as you can see, there's different things. Obviously, that's not the best one. There's no, the RMP is the closest we're gonna get. I think. No, we're not even gonna get an RMP, but I was gonna say maybe a VOR. Let's see what happens on the X-ray, and you know, if, it just doesn't look like we're gonna be coming in the same direction. That's the problem. We're gonna be coming from, you know, this direction. If you remember the other chart, the arrival, so like down and then. Well, I think we can do it. That's the point. Let's get to it. So let's activate now. Hopefully, gonna do a. So as you can see, altitudes are going in there. That corresponds with the charts. 2,200. I did put 950 into the ADF, so we're going to pick up on the NDB when we get there. And then it says, obviously, the Khabarovsk 112.3 will be in the backup system. It won't be the primary display. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, we go down here, we got 110.3, which is the ILS for the runway. As you can see, ILS DME, but then this will be in the second one. So 112. Actually, that's nav 1, so we want to go over to nav 2. We want to put it in there. I did have a quick view for the co-pilot, but it's gone for some reason. Anyway, 112.3, and we're going to leave that. So usually wouldn't have. I'll put the primary one in as well. Will that work, or won't it work? Maybe I'm getting a bit mixed up about where to put this. So I was under the impression nav 2 was the place to put it, but maybe not. Let's just check. We'll leave VOR 2, which is kind of what we're looking for. In terms of flight height, you can see we're going a bit of an angle. We do have fairly strong winds now. It's light before. A bit of it. It's more of a tailwind though, so tailwind, crosswind, but it's considerable. I've left the cruise thrust there, and it's managed to not overspeed. Speeding up a little bit now because of the wind, probably. I'm gonna go back to the charts. So I see. Yeah, I suspect we'll be coming down this direction, and then we can join it from that position. And go around. We'll go back to 200 feet, and we'll circle back. We'll just follow that route there, 234 on the heading, then go back for runway 05. That's about it on the charts. I'll leave that on there in case we need it, and then we can refer back to it. In terms of time, we've gone 1 hour. We're going to 1 hour 20 minutes. So I think about 40 minutes left until we get there. Roughly 40 minutes. Yeah. And just see where the descent is as well. So you can see missed approaches now, because we put the approach in. It now gives you the missed approach for that runway, and that corresponds with our charts. It did say 2200, but it's also given us 2690. And then we'll link that back to the airport somehow if we need to. And then alternates. I haven't really considered an alternate airport. Obviously, we always get one. Flight plan, sometimes we might have two, depending on weather conditions. Today we've been given ZYHB, so it's quite far south, to Taiping. We've been to Taiping before, but that's a considerable distance. I think if we do need to divert, I don't even know if we should have enough fuel. You know, that's what we filled up for. We filled up for contingency as well. 2200 on each engine there. That's in pounds, by the way. There's not really any way to change that. In terms of engine's doing well as well. Temperature's still 23 degrees. We stuck the NCIs on there nice and early, so it counteracts any issues. As you can see, Soviet, Paris, Ogrel, Goodmer, Torma, and then when we get to Vano, we'll descend and we'll go straight down to 7,000 feet. And like usual, guys, I will check in with them a bit closer. Roughly 30 minutes. 22 nautical miles there to Goodma, 13 to Torma. And then to Vandal is 67. That's nautical miles, by the way. Interesting to see that. I just want to point this out, that in terms of streams, in terms of videos and content, I guess this is as specific as it's going to get to this aircraft, the Citation X. There's really not many people, there's pretty much nobody flying it. There was nobody flying it at all on YouTube until the new Microsoft one came out, of course, and then everyone started making videos of them, and then it suddenly became popular. So that's interesting to see that shift, but it's good. I like it. I'm glad people are giving the aircraft a bit more flight time, and I'm glad it's on Microsoft for all them lots. I'm sure it won't be too expensive to buy. I haven't really looked at the price. Anyway, going back to the streams, it's also very interesting. So I deliberately changed the title because we're in Russia. I put it in Russian. And it's interesting to see that the stream's not getting pushed out there. So when it's in Russian, in the Russian language, they're not pushing it out there. But whereas when I've put it in English, it's being pushed out there. So no chance to say that YouTube is selective. You know it is, but it's just a really big difference there between, you know, just using the Cyrillic alphabet just simply restricts the amount of people who see the video, which is ridiculous, crazy really. So they're still, I guess they're still putting the country down as much as they can. Maybe we shouldn't be so concerned about YouTube stuff, you know, and especially when it's coming from somebody who lives in the United Kingdom. It's because then you sort of blanket attacking everybody else then, aren't you, by accident. So I just wanted to throw that in there. If you probably notice it yourselves. You probably don't get that sort of content on your YouTube at all. If by any chance you do, then let me know and say hello. Of course, my name's Grantham and I do stream 3 times a week usually. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This Wednesday we're completing the Trans-Siberian Express journey to Novosibirsk, to Vladivostok. And then Friday we have a special stream, just announced it, called the Manchester to Hong Kong stream, and that'll be 13 hours plus. In 747-400. We'll probably do a British Airways livery. So hopefully see you all there. Khabarovsk, track on terminal, 5,000 feet, 7,500 feet. Anyway, we're in range of the airspace, a bit turbulent. Quite a lot of turbulence. The airspace, I'm just going to reduce that throttle, just because there's a build up. Plus we're descending soon anyway, so I'll reduce it very slowly though. Yeah, we've really encountered it here. We've trim's doing well. Trim's keeping it in on the flight path. Once we cross that top of descent, should be descending pretty quickly. So next rad is standard weather conditions. I think, well, say that I'll show you any problems. To be fair, there's not really any clouds, it's just strong wind. 72 knots is pretty strong. And realistically, I don't even know if we can handle that. I don't even know if the aircraft's capable of handling it. I mean, it obviously is, because it's continuing on its route. If that was lower down though, there's not a chance it'd be able to get through it. Plus, it is heading in our general direction. Okay, there's the top of descent. Let's slow down rapidly now. Let the autopilot do its thing. Be aware at this altitude that you don't want to idle the engines because it needs power in order to descend. It sounds silly, but without it you won't really have much pitch control. It'll sort of just fall out of the sky without power in there. Bring it down to about 50%. I think we are descending, it's just struggling to do it for some reason. It hasn't started to descend, so that's a little bit of a concern. Wonder why that is. It's on VNAV path, it's gone past the top of descent. Just passed it back there. To do flight level change, unless of course we generally lost all pitch control and we've got failures. No, there's no failed systems. So what? I wonder what's going on. I wonder if we've flown out of the atmosphere to a point where the air's too thin so we can't descend. I have, like I say, flight level change. Maybe it's the altitude. Maybe I've got to change the altitude knob. Okay, my mistake. I was under the impression it would do it automatically. Usually it does. That's my mistake, everyone. Big error on my part. There we go. Descending rapidly now, so we go down 10,000 feet. We won't start depressurising until we're probably below 10,000 feet. Your cabin's pressurised at the moment about 8,000 feet, which is normal. The outside arrow is going to be going down very slowly, as you can see, as we descend through flight level 3 370. Even though it's saying it's saying it's lower on there than it is. Differential pressure. Okay, that's good. We're just gonna keep an eye on that, make sure nothing bad happens on descent. Quick check of the engines. So electrics, hydraulics, and you'll notice is obviously the hydraulic pump doesn't really do much. Okay, so switch from Mach back to airspeed, so 270 on the descent, that's pretty normal. So the RPM, so the N1 percentage will decrease, as you can see. I have in fact set it to below 40% on the throttles, but the reason it's high is because obviously I'm not too sure, to be honest, so I'm not going to make up some excuse. Probably just the pressure difference, isn't it? So if I increase it, it will show 50% on one now, but realistically it's between 40 and 45 on the throttles. So very, very little power in there. We can do an enunciation check, but sometimes that will... sometimes these things, like for example, light up, but you can't interact with them.
Wind shear, wind shear, wind shear.
Like this thing, you can't interact with it. I wonder if these things actually work because they illuminate on the enunciation, but then obviously in flight they don't do anything. There's the ground proximity warning switch, flag norm, override, etc. So yeah, I don't know why I'm doing that. Just make sure it's all working, I guess. And a cool feature you probably noticed earlier was, so 1 hour 45 so far, was the MFD. I found the vertical profile, so you can leave that on. You can see how far it is to your descent or to your top of climb. A little bit of a weather issue over there, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not one to use it. I never use that functionality at all. You can of course have terrain on there and traffic as well. It's normally got traffic built in. The TCAS is built into it. Terrain's there anyway. If we used to put like, let's put traffic on, that's pretty much how it is usually. So there's nothing different. I will use, actually I will, just to make it a little bit different, I'll use the standard, in fact I'll use the standard one, we'll just leave it as it is. So you can see that speed is decreasing. The reason it won't pitch down to maintain speed is because it's not got enough thrust in, so now we do need to increase it. You see there the pitch is now lowering very nicely as well. Just about to miss that. That's where we're going next time. So we're at Harborosk now, and then we're going down south, and maybe it'll be like that next time we fly. So you can see, we can probably visualize our arrival here by using the IFR feature. Obviously the VFR is terrain and things, so we know these islands. I forgot the names of these, but there are names for these little islands here. There's that thing we tuned in, the DME, so we can do that again, just to make sure, and we can go back to the thing here called the VOR, and we can check that it's actually... So what I'm going to do is switch to VOR 1 now, and also VOR 2. It's generally pointing in our direction. I'm going to set the minimums to radio heights at 200 feet. You can alternate, change it. I would recommend changing it if you're unsure of the airport. Well, sometimes there's an alternate, like height, maybe 250 feet. Going back to the map, so we visualize we're coming in, yeah, down this airway, there, and then we should be sort of circling. We'll have to circle back to join the ILS runway 05. Number right, that is 05 right. Tune the nav 1 just in case. So we have tuned the NDBs in, one of them at least. And we can confirm that here because the ADF will be pointing towards it. So yeah, the ADF is pointing. It's actually pointing in the wrong way, I think. Or maybe that's the right. Usually that arrow is pointing towards it. So we'll wait and see what happens. 20,000 feet. I'm going to turn half bank off in advance so we can make these turns. So yeah, as I suspected, we're going to go out and then join it. No sign of traffic absolutely anywhere near here. Local QNH. And we'll probably be able to make... That's quite a long runway, that is 05 right. That's absolutely huge. Yeah, anyway, we'll have to make Foxtrot because... Well, if we can't, we'll have to go all the way to Golf, and that's quite far. I don't fancy taxiing all that way. I think it probably will be that we taxi out of. So 1011 on the QNH. I won't look at that explain map again. I'll just use the charts. Okay, engine sync's coming off. APU's coming on. Yep, there's Ivada, so we need to be 10,000 feet or above according to the chart. Remember what we read, remember the flight levels, and then down to 3100 roughly, and then 2200 there for the final. Okay, there's the ADF. The ADF's clicking into gear now, so it will align and point towards the ADF we want. The ADF is actually right in the front of the runway, so we can... that's again just another reference there for the instrument landing. Navigation 2's tuned in. If we want, we can turn it off. Obviously the ADF, if we put ADF 1 on here as well, it'll appear. For the sake of practicality, we'll use the backup instrument. Because we need this for the primary approach. Altitude 3200 feet. Keep descending through. Not sure about the lights, I've been fiddling with them a little bit. Maybe I'm thinking bright is alright, but it's been dark for so long, our eyes need to be careful to adjust. Probably turn the anti-ice off as well. Still minus, it's saying -1. I will only turn it back on if there's an icing warning. Plus there's not really any clouds in this vicinity. We've already checked the cloud thing, there's none there. So we're pretty good. It's looking like, as I say, VFR landing, it's still VFR conditions. There's one of the NDBs that tuned in the second DME there. Khabarovsk traffic, Romeo Alpha 5 Hotel, descending through flight level 110 for the IVAD 6 Delta arrival for the ILS X-ray runway 05 right. Out the slats. You see there we're slowing down to 240. We should really check our final approach speed. So performance, landing 05 right, confirm the runway, confirm the airport, uniform, hotel, hotel, hotel. 54 is the heading. We can pre-select the heading now actually. 054. Turn it right round. There we go. Temperature's looking good, it's actually pretty warm. Elevation is 228 and not very high up compared to the other ones. Slope saying 0%. Now I've pointed this out before, there is a spelling mistake there. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say density altitude, but they've got the S in the end mixed up because I don't know what density is. I don't know what that is, so it's obviously density altitude. 544 on that. Wind 6. You can't really change. I haven't changed anything on there in the past, I never do. Wind threshold, and then of course, so VAP is just VREF plus 5, but in our case it's realistically you're not going to go in at the VAP speed, you're going to be faster than it because it's always way too slow on this game. You're looking at 130, 135 with a weight on board. Still got a considerable amount of fuel weight, plus we've got 9 people on board. Looking at the weight and balance here, we've got 927 kg plus 1600, so over 2,500 there. Yeah, my point is you'll need to go in faster. So flight plan, pretty much nearly there, just get to HH, and then as you can see there's that turn I've been talking about. So what we're going to do, you're going to do seatbelt signs, landing lights on. I'm going to bring those flaps to number 5. So we slow down. .240. There is everybody, Khabarovsk. And I'm pretty sure that's the runway there on the left of us. Not quite spawning in, but it's the city is there, it's just slightly invisible. Okay, lights are coming. I'm going to dim them for the approach. Makes it a bit cooler, doesn't it? You see how, if you keep it bright, you can't really see much out the windows. Going to arm the approach mode. We're nowhere near it, of course, but so we arm it in advance, and then when it gets to localize it, it'll lock on automatically. Slowing down to 190. Using the speed brake still to keep that speed nice and low, because we're actually over speeding. Plus the wind has been fairly strong. It's giving us a headwind there. Slight clouds off to the side. Okay, there's 190. We're going to retract the spoilers. We don't want to spoil the airflow anymore. We're going to cross-reference things again. We're going to check the lights are on, the flaps down to 5. Seatbelts on, lights are on. Anti-ices come off. APU's on, okay. We've got the ILS frequency, we've got the chart. Remember, we're still descending, everybody. We do need to go down to probably 2200. Although it's coming up with flight level 270 on there. 2200 will be the height for final. 15 degrees of flaps. There it is, 05 right. So we're on FF05 right next. That'll be when we switch to. So we've already armed the approach, but we can switch to the nav when we get there. We can do it now, it depends. I mean, FMS will take us straight to the runway if we leave it on anyway. We are pretty much established on the ILS because it's appeared on the vertical. Slowly bring that throttle up. Khabarovsk traffic, Romeo Alpha 5 Hotel is established with the ILS approach, X-ray, runway 05 right, 8 nautical mile final. There's our final height. Let's switch to navigation. So there we go, we're locking onto the approach now, the ILS. City absolutely, it just looks magnificent, right over the river as well. Look at that perfect flying there by the autopilot. But yeah, great approach into the city. Absolutely amazing. So hello everybody, Privyet. With Sam. Nice gas station down there. Hope prices are good. They say that every city comes alive at night, so I'm hoping this one's the same. Anyway, let's get focused on flying. So 5 nautical miles. We'll stick the gear down and 4 flaps. Just allow the autopilot to stabilise. I'm going to disengage at 1,000 feet. Remember the altitude is 228 for the airport, so about 1,228 feet for disengaging the autopilot. Go around height is 2,000. We went through it before, forgot it. 2,200 and then 2,690. We'll set it up to 3,000 feet just to be sure. There's 1,000 feet, so autopilot off. Your damper's coming off as well. I have control. Keeping that speed nice and controlled. You see that, keeping that in 1% high so we don't lose it. Looking alright. Slightly high again. Used to high approaches for some reason this plane. This is alright. Minimums we will continue. Struggling to see that centre line. I think we're just about on it. We're just slightly off the centre line again. It's been very difficult in these airports to see. Now the reason is obviously because there's no lights on the centre line. Usually there would be lights there. You would expect there to be lights on the centre. Maybe it's just a feature of Russian airports. We didn't have to use the reverses, we just kicked out the buckets. That's pretty standard, so we'll retract the flaps. We did in fact make it to that taxiway Gulf there that I was talking about. Dobro Prozhalovit, everybody, to Khabarovsk. I hope you've enjoyed the flight this evening, today, and I hope to see you on the final leg on Wednesday. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's just make it easy for ourselves. We don't need anything special. Just say hangars there. I mean, we could just go taxi Delta The one golf now. There's another runway we've got across here, as I completely forgot about. We went over the holding point for. Anyway, Delta, and then whatever that is, and we'll go to 28, 29, and 30, and we'll see what's free. Keep the chart open, you can see it. We can't really see our plane on there, unfortunately, so have to make do with without it. Okay, flight director should be off. Yeah, it's on standby mode. That's Delta over there on the right, isn't it? So let's take that right and turn. Cross 05. See, 05 left has runway lights in the centre. That's very, very interesting. If I'd known that one has centre runway lights, obviously I would have landed on it. But there was no indication there when I was coming in on the charts that it wouldn't have them on 05 right. That's so peculiar. Yeah, look at that, the difference in lighting from 05 left to right. Can hardly see the other one. And this beast, this 747, will be flying that on Friday for a special flight down to Hong Kong International. Yeah, one of the things about update to explain 12, they did in fact add the ability to park in the hangars now, which I absolutely love. And obviously they've opened up more hangars for people. Maybe we should consider parking there one day. Not now, because we've got corporate people on board, so we don't want to dump them in a hangar. That's not very professional, although some people do that. They park up in hangars. I'm going to go for 30, give us plenty of room there to wiggle around and get out if we need to. So just where this King Air is. There's Charlie, that's one we're on. Now I really hope we're on the right taxiway here. I think this is the correct way. And obviously there's King Air in that space, so we'll take the one here. Not quite clear on here where the taxiway Charlie, obviously that's Charlie we're on. So we take the right hand turn I think after this, or we could just stick it in this. It might save a little bit of time. Perfect. Don't know where we park, don't really care to be honest. We got a parking space, we pay the fees, so why not? Okay, engine shut down. Let's just stick the APU off, we don't need that. And we'll do a normal shutdown. Just waiting for the N2 to go cool down to 0. And we can turn everything else off. There it goes a bit quicker now. And we do the lights for once. We turn the lights off. We don't want people getting in the cockpit with those lights on. Batteries and... Whoa. That's very odd. There's a little bit of glitch there. So the lights continue to function with the standby power. But not very well. Standby power should be able to cope with it, but it obviously isn't. So anyway, emergency lights coming off. Standby power. Oh, look at that beauty. Thank you so much everybody, like usual, for watching. This has been a very nice and relaxing flight, and I'm so looking forward to tomorrow, Wednesday, when we finish it. The colours are looking spectacular today. I don't know if it's just the lighting or what. Yeah, so Vladivostok Wednesday, and I'll see you all then. Not been very busy this stream, but yeah, I spoke about that a bit earlier. So take care everybody, have a lovely day.